Okay, so for some reason when I brought the video files into Windows Movie Maker, the audio didn't come with it, so I'm doing the commentary afterwards here. Here we see me placing the second stick. The first stick's casting a little bit of a shadow now because this is an hour later. The sun has moved. I'm putting in the second stick, trying to get it as close as possible to having the base at the same point as the other stick. Interesting here, it doesn't even matter whether the ground is level. I'm just using the ground to hold the sticks in position, getting the stick positioned so that it casts a minimal shadow, which means it's pointed right at the sun. Here we have a little still picture showing the sticks, and that's going to be useful later when it comes time to do some measurements on them. You can see I get it pretty close to together there. It's hard to see the shadows because it's not really casting one. Moving on to the video after that, we've got putting in the third stick, obviously. You can see the sun has moved again. It's now again about an hour later. I probably should have taken a picture of a clock for verification on that. At some point, I hope to do a better version of this video where I use straighter sticks and other more high-tech equipment like straighter sticks. And here we're placing the third stick, again in more or less the same spot, trying to get the shadow down to 0 or as close to it as possible. And here we see my best still picture of the 3 sticks. I did a little video commentary where I pointed out that if I had the camera slightly off of the ideal position, it really, all it can do is make the angles look smaller. It can't make them look bigger. In much the same way that if I drew 2 lines on a piece of paper, I can tilt the piece of paper so that the lines look like they're much closer together, but I can't tilt the paper in any way so that they look further apart than they really are. Here I'm trying to line the camera up to make sure I've got the perspective of the viewfinder perpendicular to the plane that would pass through those 3 sticks. Alternately, you could think of it as I'm trying to get the cell phone so that the nice flat cell phone is parallel to the plane described by those 3 sticks. You can see if I move the camera around, I can make the angle smaller, but I can never make them bigger. So now what remains mostly is for me to print out the video, or not the video, the picture showing these 3 sticks and do some measurements on the angles. You can already see, you can pretty well just hold a protractor up to the screen. Those are pretty close to 15 degrees. While this doesn't absolutely prove anything, it's highly suggestive that the sun is actually moving 15 degrees in the sky each hour. I could go out there and do it with more sticks. I could go out there and do it with straighter sticks, but it would be really better if you're in any doubt about this experiment. You might be able to afford the 10 cents to get some sticks of your own and some dirt. And the sun is the same sun everywhere on this planet. You can just get out there and you need a timer so that you can time an hour. Get out there and try the experiment yourself. Hopefully you've got a camera. If you've got access to YouTube, you probably do. You ought to be able to do this experiment yourself. If I get a chance, I again could add a 4th stick, 5th stick. Yep, it really looks like the sun really is, as predicted by Greater Sapien, moving 15 degrees per hour every hour. I should probably go try this somewhere else at another time of year. So that'll be a video maybe in October. Little epilogue here. I actually did go out and take a picture with 4 sticks. I didn't film myself lining the 4th one up so that you can really see that it has basically no shadow, is pointing straight at the sun, but I did. Again, it looks pretty close to 15 degrees to me. I'm going to get out a protractor in a bit and check that. I did want to correct one small thing that I said. I keep referring to the sun as moving. Of course, the sun is not, by hypothesis at least, the thing that is moving. It's the Earth that is rotating the sun is pretty much just sitting there. And that's why it keeps moving in that nice even way. If the sun were like an airplane passing overhead, you would expect that when it was directly overhead, the angles would be big, and when it was not directly overhead, the angles would be much smaller. These angles look all pretty much the same. Again, I'm going to print it out and print out this picture and measure, but I'm not going to bore you with that video today. The fact that the angles are the same is consistent with the hypothesis and theory of a spherical Earth. It's very difficult to reconcile with the theory of a flat Earth, because on a flat Earth, the sun, as it passes overhead or close to overhead, should do what we all observe airplanes doing. When it's overhead, it should seem like it's moving at a very high angular speed. When it's near the horizon, it should seem like it's moving at a very low, slow angular speed. Based on this one quick experiment, the sun isn't really doing that. Still, we could do more experiments and test it in more detail. Maybe tomorrow. Thanks.